Blocks are very important in AutoCAD, and in this episode we're going to learn how to work with blocks in Visual Studio. What we're going to do is develop three main functions. The first one is replace blocks. The way it will work is you select a group of blocks and then you select another block and it will replace all the group that you selected with that block. The second main command will be arrow to nearest, where you select a group of blocks and for each one it will draw an arrow to the nearest block. And the last command we're going to look at is export blocks to Excel, where it will look at the CAD environment. It will look at all of the blocks in that CAD environment and export that information into Excel. So to get started, we're going to launch Visual Studio and we're going to create a new project and select the CAD project template. Now, if you don't have the CAD project template, then I advise you to go back to my first video where I show you how to create that template. I'll click on next. I'll call this project CAD block. Create. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is copy all of this code, which has the main functions and the helper functions, into Visual Studio, and then we will go one by one into each function and see how it works. So the first thing we will do is look at the helper functions and see how they work. Now, I've placed the helper functions into modules. The first module is selection helpers. The two functions inside are select multiple blocks. Well, the way it works in the CAD environment is it will allow you to select multiple blocks at the same time. The second one is select single block, which will allow you to select only one block. Now, the second module is block helper. First function is get effective block name. AutoCAD has a weird way of naming blocks, so this function helps you get name of the block. Create layer if it does not exist. Now, for the second function, main function that we have, we're going to place these arrows into their own layer, and this function helps us create this layer so we can place all of the arrows inside that layer. The third function is draw leader arrow. It takes in 2 points, which will be the base points of the blocks, and it will draw an arrow from one point to the other. Now, the last function is an Excel helper, export to Excel, which will export an Excel file to a directory that you choose. Now let's go over the main commands. So the first main command is replace blocks, and the way it will work is, let's say you have blocks in your AutoCAD environment. What you'll be able to do is, let's say I select multiple blocks. Let's say I select these blocks and then I select this block. What will happen is all of these will be replaced by this block over here. Now, the second command is arrow to nearest. Let's say this is my AutoCAD environment. I have multiple blocks. And the way this works is, first it will allow me to select multiple blocks. Let's say I select all of these. Then it will draw an arrow from each block to its nearest. So let's say this arrow will be this way, this arrow will be this way, and this arrow will be this way. The third main function is export blocks to Excel, and the way this works is it will read all of the blocks that are in my CAD environment and it will export that data into Excel. Now, the next step is we're going to launch this project. So after launching AutoCAD, I'm going to open the file that I'll be working with, because I need a file that has some blocks. So I'll be working with this file. The next step is to load our commands. So we will load this DLL. Open, always load. Now let's test out our commands. The first one is replace blocks. So I will select a group of blocks over here, then enter the block to replace them. Let's say this one. And as you can see, it replaced all of these blocks with the block that I selected. The next command that we will look at is arrow to nearest, and I will select all of these blocks. So I can input an arrow size. Let's say we'll keep that 250. And as you can see, for each block, it drew an arrow to its nearest block. And over here you can see how it works. Now the last command, export block to Excel. I will select all of these blocks and I will save them in this directory. It has automatically opened the file which has been saved to that directory. And as you can see, we can see the different block names and the number of blocks. Now I have programmed it to add the price. Let's say I can input a price for each one of these items, and then I could create a cost estimate. These are just some examples of programming with blocks. I'm sure there are lots of different things you can do, and for lots of different cases. If you have any comments or would like to ask any questions, please put them in the comments below. And again, thank you guys for watching.